Hello and welcome to Fortnite patch 11.30. A lot of things are going on in this patch. Among others, we have Frost Knight back finally. But now we start this video here in the SSD to show some of the changes to the AI that you most certainly have noticed if you have played Frost Knight, or maybe tried running endurance with old builds like I do here. So first of all, there is the Smasher changes. They no longer are launched by floor launchers or wall launchers, so they will basically make it through the tunnels no matter how you build them. And they also now charge at inverted ramps, and they charge through edited floors, they charge through stairs, they basically charge through everything. So they will be constantly charging around the base no matter what you do. Personally, I don't really see this as a huge issue. I mean, you can still babysit them by rebuilding walls to keep them out of your tunnels. And if this was the only change to the AI, then I'm pretty sure I would already have soloed this endurance in this patch. Because this is still, it's annoying for sure, but it is manageable. But we have a much bigger problem in propane. So most of you have probably noticed already that they seem to randomly blow up in the middle of your tunnels. Here we can see the tunnel roof starts to take some damage, then a bit later we see it take some more damage, and by the end of the tunnel, I mean by the end of the wave, the entire tunnel is gone. In Endurance this will happen pretty much every propane wave, at least with traditional tunnels. And now I'm making this video to show that these blowouts are actually not random. It is a mechanic that Epic intentionally implemented into the game. It is probably the most stupid mechanic ever, but it is intentional. So here we have a propane guy, and if I shoot at him with my weapon, everything is normal. I shoot at him until he's dead and he does not blow up. We can also use abilities to take out propane as normal. Teddy, for example, can take them out with no problem at all. But if we try to take them out with traps, we'll notice that he gets down to about 25% health, and then he decides he's had enough of your stupid traps and throws his tanks at his feet to blow them up. And this will happen consistently every single time a propane husk is hit by a trap and ends up at too low health. It doesn't matter how he's lost health earlier. If you shoot them down to 30% and a trap damages them a bit more, they will still do this kamikaze attack. We do have a new anti-air trap in the game that shoots flying propane tanks out of the air when they throw them either at you or walls around the objective, but it does not trigger when propanes pull this self-destruct mechanism. So spamming your tunnels with anti-air will not help. I also tried sound walls. In fact, in the Twine Endurance footage you saw earlier, those tunnels had the sound walls in just about every single time, but it seems they've only made it worse. And this is probably because every propane does not blow up like this in your tunnel, because it takes a while for them to do so. And we can see here, for example, it takes 2 ticks of damage before it manages to finish the attack. So if there's enough damage in the tile to kill him before he detonates, he will not blow up. And also being launched by a wall launcher cancels the attack. But of course, if you launch them into a timeout room with some traps that do not hit hard enough to kill them, they will continue the attack immediately when they get out of the staggered animation. And the same will happen if you try to use wall lights to stagger them and cancel the attack. So why did they do this, and how are we supposed to deal with it? Well, Epic's community manager was in Allura's Discord yesterday talking about this. He didn't give any straight answers, but he was hinting that there's an intentional mechanic, and it's related to trap damage, and that there are other ways to kill propanes than just traps. So they expect us to use abilities and weapons. Epic, wake up. To kill them with abilities and weapons, we'd have to either scale our tunnels not to completely kill propane husks, or we'd have to fight inside our tunnels. Now, if you scale your endurance tunnels to not kill physical propane husks on wave 4 and 6, then just good luck with elemental huskies in wave 26. This change is just the most idiotic thing anyone could ever think of. What this has led to is that so far the only 3 teams I know of that have beaten PL128 Frost Knight have done it using no tunnels at all, just stall with nothing but floor launchers and wall launchers. So they removed floor launcher damage to stop floor launcher cheese, but at the same time they made a change like this that makes an all floor launcher build the most viable strategy. With this AI in a normal tunnel build, the best would probably be to aim for wall launchers in every single tile to launch them and cancel the self-destruct animation, and then either like launch them out of the tunnel into tiles with no damage at all, or into timeouts with massive damage. If I'd feel like rebuilding my Twine tunnels for testing, my next test would probably be something like timeouts with broadsides and ceiling sappers that are on the same reload speed, which should hopefully wipe out everything that is launched in there, and then on the floor, not wooden floor spikes, because they would give small damage tick that can cause them to self-destruct even when the other traps don't go off. But yeah, it's still just RNG at what health they happen to be launched in there and so on. So as for now, I'm not going to rebuild my tunnels. Epic was also hinting that they might do some readjustments to these changes. I sincerely hope that someone on the team regains a bit of sanity and they reverse this absolutely ridiculous change. For now, all we can do is just stand there and cry while our tunnels disappear.